Hello and welcome to another Retfurb video. So today we're looking at a set of Cannondale DD50 Headshok forks. We're going to show the process of how to strip them down, get the bearings out, and then we'll inspect them. So once these forks are all stripped down and then we inspect them, you'll see the reason why it's so important to keep these forks serviced. First off, just a quick degrease before I start getting into it. This is a specialist tool that you need to undo the top of the headshok. You can see here at the top of the headshok there's some holes. This is where the tool is located and then you can undo it. This fork is part of the Cannondale project that we've got going on at the moment. There's another video on there showing the process of stripping down the bike. Now that that part is undone, you'll be able to see down inside there's another part which needs unscrewing. You need a specialist tool to remove this. However, this one wasn't actually that tight, so I managed to get in there with a pair of long nose pliers and carefully undo it. But you've got to be careful you don't scratch any surfaces around the outside when you're doing this. Obviously it's recommended to have the proper tool to do it correctly without any damage. The part that I'm removing here is the oil damper. There should also be an elastomer underneath, but for some reason it's totally missing, so I'm presuming someone's been in here previously. The oil damper will also be serviced at some point with new oil. So now you need to use the specialist tool to remove the bottom part of this outer sleeve on the headshok. This will then allow it to slide up and then the bearings can be removed. As you can see, it was fairly tight and took a bit of effort to undo it. So it's not actually looking that great for this headshok. You can see it's quite corroded around the bit that I'm undoing at the moment. Obviously once it's all stripped we can have a look and examine it and see what's what. So ideally with this you want to try and keep the parts in the same order. To be honest, I pulled this off like this because I could see the corrosion and I didn't have much hope for it. So I've just laid out the parts for the bearings and I've just taken off the rubber boot. Now I can start looking at inspecting all the parts to see whether they're salvageable. As you can see, massive amounts of corrosion on this part. It doesn't look too good. The problem is, because it's such a sensitive area for tolerances, having any corrosion or pitting of this kind isn't ideal in this location. You can see again on these bearing parts, the faces are just completely corroded beyond use. And again, these bearing races are exactly the same on the tube section, completely gone. There's no way you're going to salvage this. The problem is with it, there's not really much point in trying to do anything with these. I think you could spend the money, buy new races. The needle bearings themselves actually don't look too bad, but I think by the time you've done all that and then put a new elastomer in it, you're in for quite a bit of money. I just don't think the forks are worth it, to be honest. I think that they're just too much of a risk. I think the tolerances in the area will just mean that they won't work correctly. And this is a prime reason why these sort of things need to be serviced correctly. The thing is, as soon as any water gets in there, if the boot's damaged, if it's not fitting on there correctly, then you'll just run into issues. The water will just cause corrosion like this. They need to be properly checked and greased regularly according to the manufacturer's manual. So unfortunately today this is going to fail any sort of refurb and these are going to have to be scrapped. Although I do intend to salvage as much of the parts as I can. Thanks for taking the time to watch the video. I hope it showed why it's important to keep these things serviced. Please like and subscribe and we'll see you in the next one.